we're joined today by my good buddy Billy Bacsko, aka Ghost, aka Ghostmonster. What's up, Billy?
What's up, guys?
Hey, thanks for coming.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Well, welcome, Billy. For those that don't know, Billy's a multifaceted artist known for his work as an illustrator, concept artist, and comic book colorist, and he's based out of Morro Bay, California.
Oh, Billy, I've known you for a long time, man. I know you're ex-military with the U.S. Marine Corps. You've been a co-founder and an art director with several groups, including Algo Studios, as well as our very own Sort of Weird Artist Guild. Can you tell us a bit about what else you're up to these days and what a typical day looks like for you?
I work currently in the board game industry for the most part, other than comic books. Making mostly like all ages type. Like I create the actual like I'm an illustrator and designer for like kids boards games. So I get contracted by different companies and they bring me in and they show me kind of like what their game is about, and then we kind of then go to the drawing board of designing like what the look and feel of that game might be, and like from the whole process starting from the begin like after the mechanics are made, but starting basically from there. So from how the game is played, how the game looks. In the past, I've been a kind of basically, I would say it was more than an art director because I was like art director, um, marketing director, website designer, and then at the time of the one I'm currently describing, and then also live performance painter for a music production company out of the Central Coast. It was called GratefulFamily.com, and we like booked, music acts from around the world and brought them to the Central Coast of California. That was like a very many hats job. And other than the board game stuff, I am currently art director for the Artist Guild slash like hip hop uh, production company for that's called Sort of Weird.
Hey, Billy, I mean, let's start at the start. Like when did you start? Obviously, every artist I know is going to say when they're a kid, right? But like when did it start taking shape into what it is today?
Um, it's actually it's taken there's been a lot of starts and stops for me. Um, like anybody, plans throughout your life can, take veers and turns, but like I mean, after the military, I started working in the video game industry. Or actually before going in the military, I started working in the video game industry. I actually worked at Capcom of America. I lived right down the street from the Capcom USA offices. So I was able to get in there when I was just in high school. And I always knew that I wanted to work in games or something game related back then. And then I went into the military. And then after getting out of the military, I went back into games and worked for a couple companies like Sega. I worked for Namco. I had a very short stint at Oddworld Inhabitants as a intern there.
Hmm.
Um, and then moved completely away from art and games for a while, and went into the music side where I worked at Grateful Family Productions, and then moved completely away from it for many years and worked in television news for Associated Press as a technical director.
Okay.
And that's basically when I became a father, and
Yeah.
like basically the starving artist thingy wasn't really paying the bills for a married man, like
Sure.
new father.
Mhm.
And then yeah, took a very long break from doing any kind of professional art. Like I mean, there were little where I dip my toes back in every once in a while where um, somebody that I knew needed a shirt designed,
Right.
or somebody that was a friend of a friend was opening up a new company and they needed a logo designed or some marketing like
Right.
stuff done like that. Um, but nothing that was like paying the bills really. And then in 2020, um, when COVID hit, uh, that's when I stepped back in like full time into being a full time professional artist again, and then have been for the last five years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So, is there anyone specific that's really inspired your style of work and or I guess what inspires you in general?
Um, well, early on, like and when I say early on, like I mean like high school or younger. Um, like hip hop and graffiti art have always been something that have definitely um inspired me a lot, just like urban design. And I would say still do to this day. Like I love graffiti. I love like art associated with hip hop. A lot of artists that I've followed for decades now, and that have gone on to do other things, had that style at one point, and there's been an evolution in their style, but that was like the biggest early inspiration that was like for me. That and like funny enough, like I tell people this a lot. It was like video game instruction manuals were
Mm.
like my other really big
I'm old enough to remember those.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Because I would see like all the cool like art in the instruction manuals and stuff, and I had it in my head. I'm like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. Like maybe I wouldn't make like video game art specifically, but I would do like the art that was in like the little user manual or whatever. But th those were the two big ones. Like, there's someone that I consider my art mentor. Like, I've been following him. Like, even
You
though
want to
he's
shout them out?
even though he's like a year younger than me, like he was been producing art since like 1996. That like I always knew was the kind of art that I wanted to do, and that would be Trent Kanuga.
Mm.
He started off at 16 doing his own creator-owned comics called Creed right out of high school, and then went to work for companies like Junko Jeans and started like making the little like dudes and chicks that were out
Oh,
like
right.
on the
Sure.
patches of
Sure.
Junko Jeans.
Yeah, Junko was huge.
Yeah, and then went to work at Capcom, working on games like on Final Fight and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Wow.
And for the last 10 plus years, um I consider myself a student of his. Like when he started putting out like workshops on like how to be a professional like artist, concept artist, video game artist, like I've just devoured all his content and like done my best to like kind of um follow like his teachings that he's taught, like philosophies on art and like artistic style. Like I would say that's my biggest art influence is a singular person.
Great.
Hey, Billy, when you typically sit down to work on art, is the concept mostly developed already in your head in terms of where you're going to take something, or do you kind of let the art guide you as you're working? Like how clear of a goal do you have in mind when you sit down versus, how you start versus how you finish?
Well, that's the thing. Working as an illustrator or concept artist, because they're two very different disciplines. Um, it depends on the client's needs, really, but like the way that you're kind of asking the question, I would say
Mhm.
that like I try to not have any clear goals or any biases to put too much emphasis into any one vision that's in my head. Because when something's being developed, especially, since I don't own any IPs myself and I work for other clients, um, a lot of the briefs I get are very nebulous or generic, where they're just like, design, a backpack and a sword for this character, or, it's a game about frogs and we're gonna like have a koi pond or something like that. So my usual approach is to just throw everything at the wall, like come up with as many ideas as I can, not any one singular one that's in my head, because more often than not, I've found is that even when given a brief, sometimes many of my clients don't know what they want until they see it, but they definitely know what they don't want when they see it as well. So I have to like give them as many ideas as I can so that they can figure that out for themselves. So, I mean, when it's something that's for personal for me, like I definitely usually have a very clear vision of what's not, but professionally, no. I usually have to come up with 6, 10, 12, 15 different ideas, sometimes more on any one thing before it like comes to fruition.
Uh, so working in that environment where you're more of a contract killer as an artist, I suppose, right? They give you a clear set of directions, you go in and you execute. Um,
Yeah,
do
pencil
you
jockey.
ever get married to one of your designs that isn't picked?
Oh yeah, all the time, constantly, 100%. Because like as I'm, when you're, I'm sure like it's same thing happens with you guys with music, like sometimes when you're putting down all the ideas like on a piece of paper or typing them out on a notepad or something like that, there's always going to be like one of those where you're like, that's like all these are cool, but then there's this one that I really like a lot. You're always going to have your favorite baby per se, you know.
Sure.
And more often than not, my favorite one is not usually the one that's chosen. And
Well, we all have our own flavors that we like, right?
Hey, Billy, you've worked with a lot of musicians, a lot of
Mhm.
rappers. You've worked with a lot of business owners, a lot of comic book artists. Which group is the hardest one to please? Which one do you wind up doing the most revisions for?
Mm, uh, literary publishers, like book publishers,
Hmm,
because they're very, what I described earlier, they're the ones that are most like that. They don't know what they want, but they do know what they don't want, like
gotcha.
very strongly. And um they really get down what once they start looking at something that they do want, they start getting very into the minutia of like, hey, the curve on the tail of that P is a little too sharp right there. Is there any way we can round that out? And I'll do like that sometimes, half a dozen times on different things once we start dialing in what they do want. Very particular, like, oh, can we just get a little tiny bit more space between each letter? And it's like, oh wait, no, 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 now it looks too wide and spread out. Like
I was just
put
going
it
to
back to
ask
how
the
it
follow-up
was.
question. How
Yeah,
many people realize that what they're saying makes sense in the head and not on the page, right?
yeah,
You have 50%
yeah.
of the time?
Um, Probably more, probably closer to 60 or 70.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Because people, especially when it comes to things like color, people are like, ooh, like let's do something, let's make it look like a brushed silver or like a iron or something like that. And then you show them that and they're like, oh yeah, well that's why is it all brown? It's like, well, rusted iron is brown. And they're like, oh, but that's not what I was saying. Like I want it like brushed iron, but I want it in like hot pink. You know what I mean? Like okay, yeah, I
It's a
hear you,
great information to have an hour ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I do that. I do a lot of head nodding and like, yeah, totally. I get it when like sometimes like I don't get it at all, but I'm being amiable to what they want. So, I would say musicians are the easiest ones to work with.
Interesting.
That
Yes.
is interesting. Yeah.
Um, and literary publishers are probably the hardest ones to work with.
Why do you
Um,
think musicians are easier to work with?
I'm just saying, like every musician that I've ever worked with has been super easygoing and really enthusiastic and very validating and great. Like I mean, like I said, when I right after like it was towards the tail end of college when I was working at Grateful Family Productions and working a lot with musicians, I thought for sure I had found my niche 100%. I was like, yes, I am going to be a visual artist that works with musicians for sure, like in multiple capacities, because it was just great. Like I said, I was doing so many different things, but that still had to do with music, and I got to like hang around all kinds of different types of musicians from like a bunch of different genres all the time, and like listening to music while I was working was very uh inspirational to me. Like it still is, it's like I have my playlists that I like to listen to while I'm working. And the people were, like I said, so enthusiastic and so validating of the work, even when like I go back and look at the work and sometimes I'm like, man, this is kind of shit, like, but they were really excited about it, like, which was great. I'm like, I could have done an even better job. Maybe I don't know if they would have been even more excited. Like, I don't know what it was, the vibes around working with people in music, but yeah, working as a visual artist, working with people that are in music is is a fantastic experience. And
I
I would,
am going to interject too. Don't forget, you're probably a different form of critic about your own work, and everybody knows that. But I just,
yeah, oh
as you're
yeah,
saying it, I don't know if we would necessarily look at you. But obviously everybody improves, and I can speak for myself, and I
yeah,
think many musicians out there, there are countless people that have people say your best thing ever is the thing you can't stand to listen to anymore, right? So
totally, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, of all the different uh places that I've worked, or I mean like different I don't know how you want to put it, just the different places where I've tried to apply being a visual artist to different mediums, working with musicians was the easiest and probably sometimes the most exciting because they were so, because I just keep going back to that same word, validating, like
Mhm.
of like the work being like done. Um, yeah, it was great. And I would say to any visual artist out there, like if you haven't worked with a musician or people in music, like give it a shot because it's great, especially if it's music you like.
You probably wouldn't tell the band if it was music you
Yeah.
didn't know, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like if London Philharmonic comes asking, like, hey, we want to get a poster done
Yeah,
for our
yeah,
like big show, for Christmas, or whatever, like, don't turn it down, even if you're not into like orchestral classical. Like, do it for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah. I love that.
So, Billy, is there one piece of your art that's most recognizable? Is that your favorite piece that you've made?
Ooh. Um, it would definitely have to be something in the last 5 years because like in the last 5 years I've had like so much artistic growth, which has been extremely fulfilling that like um and I took like and as I stated before, like I took basically an 18-year hiatus from being a professional artist to be a dad, and where I was living, raising my daughter and stuff like that. There weren't many visual art uh opportunities. So I really wasn't working on my craft like as much as I probably should have. Like I always carried around a sketchbook and I would draw and stuff like that or draw at work and people are like, "Oh, you're such a great artist." It's like that. But I really like I was, there was almost 2 decades there where like I didn't grow at all. I don't feel like I did, like maybe I learned a couple new tools or something like that, but I don't feel like I had a lot of artistic growth. And then in the last 5 years, I've just had so much where it was like I instantly picked up like right from where I felt like I left off and was able to like cram 10 years of growth into 5 years. Like it was probably like double time, I would say.
But it'd
Um,
be hard for you to know which of those are maybe like the ones that's the most recognizable or that you got the most like feedback from.
Trying to think.
I would have thought the monkey with the gun would have been like the easy number one, but
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
that was kind of a big thing. Yeah, that was yeah, AR-15 orangutan. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. That
And
was
that's a character you made up, or what was the deal with him?
no. That was like it was in the indie like I was hanging around with a lot of indie comic creators and there was one particular YouTube channel called our YouTube channel. I don't even know what the channel's called. The comic creator and his channel, his name is Michael Bancroft. He's from Australia. And I'm really glad that you brought that up because I was trying to think of like pieces that I like the most. Maybe that I guess that really wasn't the question. Like what's the most recognizable? Um and so I was hanging around with a lot of indie comics guys in 2019, 2020. And and everybody was kind of I guess in the on that show, you know, they have an audience that watches because it's like a live show. And there was I guess there was kind of a running gag that the audience had created a fictitious comic book character that would never be drawn, and that
Hmm.
was AR-15 orangutan. And one day I was watching the show and the audience was like really kind of you know, people were talking about AR-15 orangutan and the show host was like, you know, talking back with the with his audience members and talking about that. And and the host said, you know, we're gonna do an art contest and everybody send in like their best um, you know, AR-15 orangutan. And and I got really excited about it because I was just like, oh wow, a monkey like with a machine gun. Like that sounds funny and fun, you know? And I stayed up for like 18 hours painting straight and painted this monkey with a M16 and we could probably like bring up a graphic of it like if you guys want to see it.
Sure.
The next day and I submitted it and the next day the show host contacted me and he said he's like, "Wow, I want to actually have you on my show as a guest and I'd like to um basically crowd fund your art to be like
Oh,
turned
cool.
into a trading card or something like that. Just like I want people to see how great the art is that you produced for this like small art contest, what I thought was going to be a small art contest." And he's like, "I think that you deserve to just be paid for this really great piece of like art." And he had me on the show, and like within a half hour, like people had donated like $500 or $600 to this picture that I had drawn, and there was a couple people that showed up to donate money, like one of the lead artists at Riot Games that created like the visual Bible for League of Legends. His name's Eric Canetti. Like he showed up like he happened to be there in the audience at the show and like donated like $100 like right off the bat. He's like, "That's a really great piece of work. Like I'm gonna donate $100." And I actually started crying like on camera because I was like, I can't believe this is happening.
That's so cool.
And it's and I've what I kind of I've told Michael Bancroft this before. I was like, man, I feel like I was like my art career was this boulder and I was like pushing it up, like trying to like get it over the hill to like the other side or like, you know, the valley of like splendor where like being a professional artist was. And I couldn't get it up and over there. Like I maybe had it like right at the top, but I couldn't push it over. And then this crazy Aussie came over and he's like, "Hey, mate," and just kind of like gave the boulder a kick. And then the ball just started like rolling after that.
That's so cool.
Um, because basically after that show and that exposure, um, that's when I became a full-time like working like visual professional again and was like getting work a bunch and like getting calls from like other what I would consider like world-class artists Like people from Extreme Studios that worked with Rob Liefeld, like were calling me that wanted to work. Other indie creators. Yeah, like that was kind of the tipping point. Like with that one piece of like recognizable art, I guess. Yeah.
Well, Billy, hopefully this is a good segue, man, because I'm going to ask you a multi-part question, and feel free to respond to this however you want, any part or all of this, right? But with relation to your art, your craft, your profession, right? How would you define success? And has that definition of like success, has that changed over time? Right? Was there like a particular time that you thought already like I am successful, this has been successful?
Mm, well, I don't think I've gained the amount of success that I would like to have yet,
Sure.
but I still feel like I've succeeded in many ways. I don't know if that's kind of a minutiae answer. Um,
I think it makes a ton of sense. You're obviously able to turn what you love doing into a career. And that's success, I think, on
yes,
at
exactly.
least the most basic of levels, right? We would all hope to be able to do that. But I think, are you trying to say like the grandeur isn't there? You're not
Yeah, well,
like,
I mean, maybe the notoriety of doing something super high profile hasn't like because I've worked with some high profile people on some like semi high profile IPs. Um, and it's like, and I feel very successful every time that happens. Um, I don't, maybe the goalpost has moved so many times that
Sure.
um, what I consider what I would want to do has changed. At least I haven't worked completely like on a double A or triple A video game that has come out. Like
Mm.
I've worked on some that have never come out.
Mhm.
So that doesn't have quite the same feel. It's like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, yeah. I worked on $1 million
you
blockposture
you
movie
should
that
have
got
seen what I
canned.
did. I mean, you can't and you never will, but you should have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think that's probably the goal that I would still really like to hit. I would like to either it could be any one of the three. Like if even if it was an indie, double A or triple A, I would like to still work on a game on one of those levels and actually have the game come out. Because when I was working for a very, like I said, I worked for a very short time as an intern, unpaid intern at Oddworld Inhabitants, and that was while they were producing Stranger's Wrath. But since I was an unpaid intern, that doesn't, I wasn't really working as an artist since I was an intern there. So I don't consider that as like, yeah, I was working there when they produced that game. It's different.
Yeah.
And like I said, and then the other games I've worked on were canned before they ever came out. So, um, yeah, I'd like to work on a game that comes out, that
I,
comes out.
I think that's reasonable, right? Like you had a vision when you were getting started. This is my goal of what I think success would be. And as you get closer or attain that, you've now reset and set new goals to keep pushing yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still waiting to work on that instruction manual, man. Like,
That,
it's still a thing, right?
I mean, look, if we can get the funding for Dave's video game, I don't know if he's ever pitched the cat game to you, but if we could ever get the funding for that,
Shout
I
out the
think
cat game. Shout out Super Runner Man. If there's some devs out there that want to take it on, I promise you, we're gonna nail those, man.
yeah, I thought Stray might have been like I was like, did
What
they take his
wasn't
idea?
it? Wasn't it?
Wasn't it? I know.
Cool, cool, not as cool.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to categorize you as the comic art version of Sin Dog or Flavor Flav? Is that a fair?
I mean, sure, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I'm a background guy. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, and it's usually, because like I said, like
The
they,
Sin Dog of comic books. I'm
yeah,
gonna try and get that going, but you tell me.
yeah, 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 insane. Like just
Hey Billy, before we get into the gamified portion of the show, I did want to give a little bit of time if you'd like to direct anybody towards something that you've got out there or shout out some stuff that you've got coming up that people can look out for. Anything you want to plug?
Well, you can follow me like everywhere on social medias. It's Billy Bacsko, Bacsko. Um, there is like some older stuff that's still listed under Ghostmonster, which is kind of like my old nickname from back in the day, like my tagger name. Usually either both of those. I mean, my first and last name is super unique. There's not another Billy Bacsko in the world, so I'm the only one that'll show up in a search engine. Ghost Monster. I think that word combination with no spaces is also semi-unique, so you can find me there. I worked on a 74-page graphic novel with a great friend of mine named Dan Plagle for the last couple of years. It took a little while to get out because he was suffering from some health issues. He went through stage 4 cancer, but it's finally getting ready to come out, and it's going to be available again on Kickstarter soon. It's called Dan Plagle's The Goblin Girl, and you'll be able to buy that from Kickstarter, and it will be on in-demand and backer kit on Kickstarter, I'm sure, for a while, and then eventually on his website. Even though that's not my project, it was a really big project that I was involved in
Sure.
that I really believe in.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, those are the two big. That's me, and that's the biggest kind of thing that like I have to promote right now.
Very cool.
Okay. Please make sure to let us know when that is on Kickstarter or whenever you need to push for getting more people aware. I think I speak
Yeah,
for all of us. It's sort of weird in saying that we would be happy to help push that from our
yeah.
socials as
It's it's
well.
a
And
it's a fantasy tale of high adventure. The main artist that I worked with it on, the way he describes it, he says, "Imagine if Elvira was starring in a Conan movie." So take take what that with from you what you will.
Well said.
all right. Well, it's time for us to play our second favorite game, a game we like to call Second Favorite.
Okay, you call it second favorite. I like to call it ultimate penultimate.
Yeah, it's my
And I
favorite.
like to say that Ultimate Penultimate is my second favorite game.
Nice.
Well played. All right, should we make sure you know what we're about to do? This is a game, of course, where we're going to ask you a couple rapid fire questions, and the only real rule is remember we're asking for your second favorite fill in the blank.
Yeah,
If you say your favorite, all bets are off, man.
yeah,
Okay?
I can
All
do that.
right. All right. Brooks, you want to go first?
I'll go first. Who is your second favorite rapper?
Buster Rhymes.
Second favorite mutant.
Mutant.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a favorite mutant. Um,
Everybody's got a favorite mutant. It's Logan. Now, who's your second favorite?
well, that's definitely not my first favorite for sure.
Hmm.
Um, I'd say my second favorite is probably Colossus.
All right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the steel skin. Like
Your answer has been accepted.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I think the X-Men would have a valid criticism against you. What favorite mutant? There's no
Yeah, yeah.
favorite mutant.
Listen, bub,
Yeah.
I'm nobody's second favorite.
Second favorite place in California.
Um, Morro Bay.
Second favorite anime series.
Um, Evangelion.
Ooh, number two.
Second favorite sitcom as a kid.
Ooh. Hmm. Trying to remember like sitcoms I really liked as a kid and then not the one that I liked the most. Because I really liked Different Strokes.
Oh, I'm assuming that's
No, no,
third.
We need a
but I don't
buzzer.
think I like that one the most. But I'm just trying to think of sitcoms because I don't know if I watched a lot of sitcoms. Like I watched a lot of because like Love Boat isn't like a sitcom, right? It's like a drama, isn't it? I
You
mean,
sit there and laugh at the situation.
yeah,
I think it's a situational comedy if you'd like it to be.
okay, okay. Well,
But if you
yeah,
don't like it to be,
I'll say Different Strokes. Like it is the second.
Okay.
Yeah.
His second favorite. And Love Boat's definitely not the first because it's not a sitcom.
No, 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 because I think Love Boat's better, but I
let's
don't
help
think it's a
narrow things
sitcom.
down.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But see that because then I think about shows that like like Dukes of Hazzard would have been higher than both of those. But I'm like, but is that a sitcom? But I laughed in that show too, though. Like,
Yeah. A-Team was pretty funny. Don't know if it was a sitcom.
right, 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 right.
Night Rider, pretty funny.
I
Don't
told
know
you
if
not
they
to put me
meant
on
for
this
it to
airplane,
be.
fool.
I'm like frog, banana, frog, banana. Ooh, typewriter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Different
Um,
Strokes, I would probably say is I definitely
let's
wasn't prepared for this.
well, here you go. Ready? Second favorite car ever.
Toyota Supra,
Hmm. Any particular year?
1992.
1992 is your second favorite year of Supra, or your favorite year and Supra's your second favorite car? I'm just
Super,
making sure you're playing by the rules.
Sup well, okay, wait. Super's the second favorite car.
91.
Yeah. But your
Favorite
favorite year?
favorite year is 1992. Um, second favorite would be anything after they changed it from the boxy style to the big round amalgam shape that it is now.
You're an honorable man. I should have never questioned if you're playing by the
Yeah.
rules. So,
What's your second favorite movie?
Second favorite movie, um, Redline,
hmm,
2009 anime by Madhouse.
yeah. I heard that mentioned recently, like, words like visionary and kinetic and
Yeah. I
all
mean,
right.
it's almost number one, but it's not because it gets beaten out
Well,
by one
because
that's just
you wouldn't have told us if it was.
yeah, right. Yeah.
We would hope that you're not going to lie to us.
It's really close to number one, but it is number two. Yeah.
Very cool. Billy, you've done a little bit of travel. You've been stationed even around the world. What's your second favorite country you've ever been to?
Canada,
Canada, number two.
number two.
Very cool.
Like it would either be Korea or
Canada.
Canada. Yeah. Well,
Well,
because yeah.
Japan's your number two because you wouldn't.
No, it's number one.
No, you can't say that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be edited out anyways.
He said it's next to Japan. I was
Yeah.
like, the Pacific Ocean?
Yeah,
Thailand, yeah.
there's a
Thailand,
boat route. There's a
Thailand,
boat route. All
yeah.
right, Brooks,
Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
you got next turn.
Uh, second favorite ice cream flavor.
Oh God, wow. Mocha almond fudge.
Hmm. I haven't had that in forever.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I always don't want it as much as something else.
It was someone important in my life. It's their favorite, but and they would order it so much that like it became my second favorite.
I love it. Hey, I want to make sure to get to ask this one, Billy. What is your second favorite birthday or Christmas present you've ever received, like of all time?
Second favorite birthday or Christmas present.
Yeah,
A television.
a television, any like
Well,
from a
because
loved one as a kid.
because I lived in a house where we didn't grow up with television.
Mm,
So so when we got a television, it was a big deal.
yeah.
I was thir 13? I think I was
Wow.
13. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're 13 till there's a TV in your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
I could imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't I was like "Oh my God, we've got a television here."
Yeah.
Like watching TV used to be like like a special thing when I would go over to like one of my grandparents' houses. And this kind of like goes back to the sitcom thing was because a lot of the TV that I watched when I was a kid wasn't chosen by me. It was what
Right.
my grandparents were watching
Sure.
Yeah.
because I didn't have a television, so
Hmm.
I didn't know what was on TV, and I wasn't allowed to like be the one to choose what was going to be on the TV.
Sure. Yeah.
So like Murder She Wrote, Love Boat, like all those like Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, like those are all like things that like I still love those genres still to this day because I watched them with my grandparents
Yeah.
and yeah, and then we got our own TV. Yeah. That was my second favorite gift. Like
Heck yeah.
Christmas gift. Yeah.
Okay. Second favorite breakfast food.
Ooh, eggs.
Eggs. Very cool. And I think of the ones that we've written down, I think this might be the last one written down, and that is what's your second favorite like art program or art tool?
The eraser?
That's a great
Great
cut.
answer.
I mean, I don't want to say what my favorite art
No,
tool
please don't.
is,
Please don't.
but the eraser is definitely my second favorite.
I prefer the drawing utensil, but
Oh, I didn't
Oh,
say
too
that.
much.
I didn't say
I didn't
that.
say what it was.
I didn't say that, but I definitely say the eraser would be my second favorite.
All right. Well, with the wrap up of second favorite, uh, is there some free game that you'd like to share with everyone?
That's what you're here for, Billy.
It sounds super cliche, but whatever type of creative work that you might be into, whether it be, drawing or painting, or if you were like me and you were like a graffiti kid with like a spray can in his hand growing up, or you're a singer or a rapper or someone that works on crochet or whatever it might be, never give up on your dream to be a creative because sometimes you can get lucky and life will fall into place where like you can make that a part of like your early life and your early career like as you're young. Um Sometimes it'll come like when you're in your mid 40s. Um but I would say I've experienced now both and it was still extremely fulfilling to be able to become a professional artist for a second time in my life. And I know that there's a lot of people that I've met that are in their late 30s or something like that. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, I'm never going to be A or I'm never going to be B. It's like, I'm getting too old. It's not going to happen. I'm just like, I'm living an example of that. Like, you can re-kickstart your artistic career in your mid 40s and become successful. Um, all it takes is like the drive to really want to do it and the determination and the love of your craft.
I love that, man. That obviously, just tying it together. It's our second episode, and we're doing this as a way to kind of get the message and the point of the guild out there, Billy. So I mean, obviously, as a part of this group and as someone that's similarly minded, like we really do want to help people that have that passion and have that drive. And man, the world is filled with the best basketball players of all time that needed to feed their kids and couldn't go a certain direction, right? The best rappers of all time that, maybe were a little worried about what it looked like on the social media as they're trying to climb the corporate ladder and it's a more sure-footed thing and we don't begrudge anybody because we've all fed kids, right? You know what I mean? So like hearing that, dude, I obviously resonates with us. And for those folks out there that hear that, if it resonates with you too, just know like the point of this group is to have y'all's back, right? And to carry some of that heavy load, man. So like I Thank you for that, Billy. I'm with you, man. You know what? You said it really well. You said, it sounds cliche, but part of why it's a cliche is because all the people that have tapped into that and have powered through that, that's their message back to you, right? So yeah,
Yep.
don't give it up, dude. Don't quit. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, this is where we're gonna finish it. So I want to remind our small, humble and appreciated and growing audience. You guys know what we say here at Sort of Weird Artist Guild, right? We say the world is full of some pretty cool people, and if you listen,
You might just get some free game. Thanks for watching, everyone.
thanks everybody.